Esmeralda's hand trembled as she set down her fork, the clinking sound echoing through the festively decorated dining room like a gunshot. "Mom, Dad, everyone. I'm gay," she announced, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her. Before the words could fully settle, her mother, Margaret, stood up abruptly, her face twisting into a mask of fury, and hurled the entire pan of steaming lasagna straight at Esmeralda's chest, the hot cheese and sauce splattering across her holiday sweater, burning her skin and soaking her in humiliation. The room froze. Her father's fork hovered midair, her younger brother's eyes widened in shock, and Aunt Clara gasped, clutching her pearls. Esmeralda sat there, sauce dripping down her face, the heat searing not just her body but her soul. Why did I think this would go well? She thought, her mind racing back to all the times she'd rehearsed this moment in the mirror, convincing herself that love would prevail. But love didn't pour lasagna. Rage did. She wiped her eyes, feeling the sting of tears mixing with tomato sauce, and locked eyes with her mother. "Is this how you show your love, Mom? By attacking me?" Margaret's chest heaved, her knuckles white from gripping the table. "How dare you ruin Christmas with this? This filth. We've raised you better than this." Her words cut deeper than the burns, echoing the conservative values Esmeralda had grown up with in their suburban Chicago home, where church on Sundays and family dinners were sacred. Esmeralda's father, Robert, finally spoke, his voice low and disappointed. "Esme, this isn't you. It's that friend of yours, Ivy, isn't it? She's corrupted you." The accusation hit like another splash of sauce. Ivy. Sweet, fierce Ivy, who had been her rock through college and beyond. They met at Northwestern University, bonding over late-night study sessions that turned into confessions of hidden feelings. Ivy, with her unapologetic spirit, had encouraged Esmeralda to come out, whispering promises of a future together. But now, as Esmeralda sat drenched and exposed, doubt crept in. Was this worth it? The pain in her mother's eyes, the silence from her family. Could she really trade their approval for her truth? She stood up slowly, ignoring the mess, her mind a whirlwind of regret and defiance. "No, Dad. This is me. Always has been." But inside, she questioned everything. Had she timed it wrong? Christmas was supposed to be about joy, not judgment. As she stormed out of the dining room, leaving a trail of sauce footprints on the carpet, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Ivy calling. She answered, her voice breaking. "It went horribly, Mom. She threw food at me." Ivy's response was immediate, fierce. "Come to me. We'll figure this out." Esmeralda drove through the snowy streets, the holiday lights blurring through her tears. Arriving at Ivy's apartment in the city, she collapsed into her arms, the scent of vanilla from Ivy's shampoo a stark contrast to the chaos she'd left behind. "Why does it have to be this hard?" Esmeralda whispered, her inner voice screaming accusations at herself. "You're selfish," it said. "You've destroyed your family for what? A relationship that might not even last?" Ivy held her tight, stroking her hair. "Because the world isn't ready for us yet. But we are." That night, as they sat on the couch, Esmeralda replayed the scene in her mind. The lasagna wasn't just food. It was a symbol of rejection, of the nurturing she'd always associated with her mother now weaponized against her. She thought about her childhood, the way Margaret had bandaged her scraped knees and baked cookies for school events. How could that same woman do this? The conflict tore at her, loyalty to family versus loyalty to self. Ivy suggested they take a break from the family, but Esmeralda hesitated. "They're all I have," she said, though she knew it wasn't true anymore. Ivy was her family now, wasn't she? The next morning, texts flooded in. Her brother Tim apologetic. "I'm sorry, sis. I didn't know what to say. Aunt Clara. Praying for you." But from her parents, nothing. The silence was louder than the outburst. Esmeralda stared at her phone, debating whether to reach out. What if I apologize? Pretend it was a joke? The thought made her stomach churn. No, she couldn't go back. But the price of moving forward felt insurmountable. Ivy, sensing her turmoil, pulled her into the kitchen. "Let's make breakfast. Something simple." As they cracked eggs, Ivy shared her own story. Coming out in high school, losing friends but gaining freedom. "It hurts at first, but you emerge stronger." Esmeralda nodded, but inside she wondered if she had that strength. The day dragged on, filled with quiet conversations and stolen glances, each one a reminder of why she'd risked it all. Yet the doubt lingered, a shadow in her heart. By evening, Esmeralda decided to call her father. "Dad, can we talk?" His voice was guarded. "What is there to say, Esme? Your mother is devastated." The words fueled her anger. Devastated? What about me? She hung up, tears flowing again. Ivy comforted her, but Esmeralda pulled away slightly. "Maybe I need space." The words escaped before she could stop them, planting the first seed of discord in their relationship. Was this the beginning of the end? Esmeralda woke up the next day with a headache, the events of Christmas replaying like a nightmare she couldn't shake. Ivy was already up, brewing coffee, her presence a balm, but also a reminder of the chaos. "We should plan our next move," Ivy said, handing her a mug. Esmeralda sipped, her mind churning. Plan. How do you plan for a family fallout? She thought about her job at the marketing firm, where colleagues whispered about inclusivity but rarely lived it. Coming out there would be another battle. That afternoon, a knock at the door startled them. It was Tim, her brother, looking sheepish with a bag of her clothes. "Mom packed these. Said you might need them." Esmeralda's heart sank. So this was it, eviction from her own life. Tim hugged her awkwardly. "I support you, sis. But Mom, she's talking to the pastor about saving you." The word saving ignited fury in Esmeralda. Saving from what? Happiness? She thanked him, but inside betrayal stung. Her own mother turning to outsiders. Ivy watched the exchange, her jaw tight. "That's manipulation, Esme. Don't let them guilt you." But Esmeralda felt the pull of family ties, the years of conditioning making her question her choices. Was loving Ivy a sin, as her mother believed? The moral dilemma weighed heavy, her Catholic upbringing clashing with her heart. That night, alone in her thoughts while Ivy slept, Esmeralda pondered the ethics. Is it wrong to choose love over tradition? The answer eluded her, leaving her restless. Days turned into a week, the new year approaching with forced cheer. Esmeralda returned to work, but the strain showed. Her boss noticed her distraction during a meeting. "Everything okay?" She nodded, but inside she screamed. "No, nothing is okay. My world imploded." Meanwhile, Ivy pushed for commitment. "Move in with me fully. Let's build our life." Esmeralda hesitated, fearing the final cut from her family. "What if they never forgive me?" Ivy's eyes flashed with hurt. "What if you never forgive yourself for hiding?" The tension escalated when Margaret called unexpectedly. "Come home, Esmeralda. We need to talk." Hope flickered, but caution held her back. She agreed, driving to the suburbs with Ivy's warning ringing in her ears. "Don't let them break you." At the house, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken words. Margaret sat rigidly, Robert beside her. "This lifestyle. It's not right," Margaret started. Esmeralda's defenses rose. "It's not a lifestyle, Mom. It's who I am." The conversation devolved into accusations. "Ivy's influence is toxic," Margaret shouted. Esmeralda defended her, but doubt crept in again. Had Ivy pushed too hard? The argument peaked when Margaret revealed she'd contacted Ivy's parents, outing her to them. They agree it's unnatural. Esmeralda's blood boiled. Betrayal from her own mother, extending to Ivy. "How could you?" she cried, storming out once more. Back at the apartment, she confessed to Ivy. "My mom outed you to your folks." Ivy's face paled, then hardened. "That's war." But inside, Ivy's own insecurities surfaced. Her parents, distant but tolerant, now might withdraw completely. She blamed Esmeralda silently. "Why bring me into this mess?" The night ended in silence, the first crack in their bond widening. Esmeralda lay awake, dissecting her decisions. Coming out was right, but the timing? Selfish. Involving Ivy? Reckless. The moral quandary deepened. Was protecting her relationship worth the collateral damage? Society's gaze loomed too. Whispers at work, stares from neighbors. She felt exposed, vulnerable. The following day, Ivy confronted her parents over the phone. "Yes, I'm gay. Deal with it." Their response was cold detachment, mirroring Esmeralda's fear. Ivy hung up, tears streaming. See what your family did. The accusation hung heavy, turning their sanctuary into a battlefield. Esmeralda apologized, but words felt hollow. How do you fix broken trust? As the week progressed, Esmeralda sought solace in therapy, a secret she'd kept even from Ivy. The counselor probed her inner conflicts. What do you owe your family versus yourself? Esmeralda struggled. Loyalty bred in her bones clashed with emerging self-worth. Meanwhile, social pressures mounted. A colleague's offhand joke about those people stung, reminding her of the world's bias. Ivy, feeling sidelined, suggested a getaway. Let's escape to the lake house. Esmeralda agreed, hoping distance would heal. But en route, arguments flared. You're still attached to them, Ivy accused. And you're pushing me away, Esmeralda retorted. The drive ended in tense silence, the weight of their choices pressing down. Was love enough to withstand this storm? The lake house, nestled in Wisconsin's woods, offered a temporary reprieve, but the air between Esmeralda and Ivy crackled with unresolved tension. As they unpacked, Esmeralda's mind wandered to her family. What are they doing now? Celebrating the new year without me? The thought twisted like a knife. Ivy tried to lighten the mood with a walk by the frozen lake, but Esmeralda's responses were clipped, her inner monologue a torrent of self-doubt. Am I ruining her life too? That evening, over wine by the fire, truths spilled out. I feel like I'm losing you to your guilt, Ivy confessed, her voice breaking. Esmeralda's heart ached. It's not guilt, it's grief. For the family traditions she'd never share again, the approval she'd craved. But admitting that felt like betrayal to Ivy. The conversation turned heated. Choose Esme, them or us? Ivy demanded. Esmeralda recoiled. How can I choose when both tear me apart? The night ended in separate beds, a first for them. Esmeralda stared at the ceiling, questioning her ethics. Is staying true to myself immoral if it hurts others? Society's lens amplified her turmoil. News articles about divided families over LGBTQ issues mirrored her reality, fueling her isolation. Returning to Chicago, the rift grew. Ivy immersed in work at her graphic design studio, while Esmeralda faced her own battles. At the office, a promotion opportunity arose, but whispers about her personal drama circulated. Her boss pulled her aside. Focus, Esmeralda. Distractions aren't professional. She nodded, but rage simmered. Distractions? My identity isn't a distraction. That night, she confided in Ivy, seeking support. But Ivy, still smarting from the lake house, responded coolly. Handle it yourself. The dismissal stung, planting seeds of resentment. Family pressure intensified when Robert showed up at her workplace unannounced. Your mother's sick with worry. Come home. Esmeralda's resolve wavered. Sick? Is this my fault? She agreed to dinner, without telling Ivy. At the house, Margaret was subdued, offering apologies laced with conditions. If you leave that girl, we can fix this. Esmeralda's anger flared. Her name is Ivy, and she's not the problem. But inside, the offer tempted her, normalcy, acceptance. Leaving, she felt torn. Betraying Ivy by even considering it? Unthinkable. Yet the pull was strong. She confessed to Ivy that night. I went to see them. Ivy's eyes widened in hurt. Without me? After what they did? The argument exploded. You're weak, Esme. Always running back. Esmeralda shot back. And you're insensitive. You don't understand family bonds. Words like daggers, each one a damage they couldn't retract. In the aftermath, silence reigned. Esmeralda retreated into work, but productivity suffered. Her mind raced with what-ifs. What if I end it with Ivy? Regain my family? The moral conflict peaked. Sacrificing love for peace felt wrong, but so did alienating her roots. Society's expectations weighed in. Friends' subtle judgments. Media portrayals of broken queer lives. She felt like a pawn in a larger game. Ivy, meanwhile, sought comfort from old friends, one of whom, Sarah, had always harbored feelings for her. A late-night drink turned confessional. Esme's dragging me down, Ivy admitted. Sarah leaned in. You deserve better. The moment passed without action, but guilt gnawed at Ivy. Am I betraying her? The thought haunted her. Esmeralda discovered the outing via a text mishap. You were with Sarah? Confrontation ensued. It was nothing, Ivy insisted. But trust fractured. How could you? Esmeralda echoed her earlier words to her mother. The irony burned. In her solitude, she pondered the cycle of hurt. Family to her to Ivy, Ivy back. Was this inevitable? Seeking clarity, Esmeralda attended a support group for LGBTQ individuals. Stories of similar struggles resonated, offering perspective. One woman's tale of cutting ties for self-preservation stuck. The price of freedom is high but worth it. Esmeralda left empowered, but conflicted. Apply that to Ivy? To family? The climax built as Margaret orchestrated an intervention with the pastor. Esmeralda arrived unsuspecting, to find them waiting. This is for your soul, Margaret pleaded. The pastor preached conversion, but Esmeralda stood firm. My soul is fine. Walking out, she felt liberated. Yet the damage to her psyche was profound. The constant battles eroded her spirit. Back home, Ivy waited remorseful. I'm sorry about Sarah. They talked through the night, vulnerabilities exposed. But underlying tensions simmered, the cost of their love evident in weary eyes. Weeks blurred into months, the strain on Esmeralda and Ivy's relationship manifesting in small cracks that threatened to shatter them. Esmeralda threw herself into activism, joining local LGBTQ groups in Chicago, channeling her pain into advocacy. Speeches at rallies, her voice strong but her heart heavy. Is this fighting back, or running away? She wondered, as applause drowned her doubts. Ivy supported from afar, but jealousy brewed. You're always out there, saving the world. What about us? The divide widened when Esmeralda's family escalated. Margaret spread rumors to extended relatives, painting Esmeralda as confused and Ivy as the villain. A cousin's wedding invitation arrived, without a +1. Family only, the note read. Esmeralda's rage boiled. Exclusion as punishment? She declined, but the snub cut deep. Inside, she debated confronting them again. Worth the energy? Or let go? Ivy urged confrontation. Stand up to them. But Esmeralda hesitated, fearing more hurt. Their arguments grew frequent, each one chipping away at their foundation. One night, after a heated exchange, Ivy packed a bag. I need space. Esmeralda panicked. Don't leave me. But Ivy did, crashing with Sarah. The betrayal hit like a freight train. How could she go to her? Esmeralda's mind spiraled into paranoia and self-blame. I drove her away. Alone in the apartment, Esmeralda confronted her demons. Mirror reflections accused her, coward, selfish. The moral quandary resurfaced. Was preserving the relationship ethical if it meant constant pain? Society's mirror reflected back judgment. Online trolls targeted her activism posts, calling her family destroyer. She deleted accounts, isolating further. Tim reached out, a bridge in the storm. Mom's softening. Give her time. Esmeralda clung to hope, meeting him secretly. I miss you all, she admitted. Tim revealed Margaret's therapy sessions, grappling with change. A glimmer of reconciliation? But at what cost to her authenticity? Ivy's absence stretched, text sparse. Esmeralda suspected more with Sarah, confirmation coming via a mutual friend. They're dating. The world tilted. Betrayed by the one she fought for. Tears flowed as she packed Ivy's things, each item a memory laced with pain. Why did I sacrifice everything for this? The inner turmoil peaked, questioning every decision. Confronting Ivy at Sarah's, emotions erupted. How could you? Esmeralda screamed. Ivy defended. You were never fully in. Always one foot with your family. The truth stung. Had she been? Sarah intervened. Leave Esme. The humiliation echoed the lasagna incident, closing the circle of hurt. Reeling, Esmeralda drove aimlessly, ending at her parents' door. I need you, she whispered. Margaret opened, pulling her in. Tears and apologies flowed. I was wrong, Margaret admitted. Robert nodded. Reconciliation tasted bittersweet, but Esmeralda felt the void of Ivy. Was this victory or surrender? Days later, therapy helped unpack. You chose survival, the counselor said. But Esmeralda doubted. Moral lines blurred, trading love for family peace. Society applauded family first, but her heart mourned. Ivy reached out weeks on, apologetic. I messed up. Esmeralda met her, closure in mind. We both did. They parted as friends, the damage irreparable. Esmeralda focused on healing, activism her outlet. But nights brought regrets. Did I fight hard enough? Family dynamics shifted slowly. Margaret attended a PFLAG meeting with her, awkward but earnest. I'm trying. Esmeralda appreciated, but scars remained. Social pressures eased as allies emerged, but the journey's toll was evident in her weary soul. A new connection sparked at a group event. Lena, understanding and patient. Esmeralda hesitated. Lessons learned. Rush in, or guard her heart. The moral debate continued. Risk again or play safe. As spring bloomed, Esmeralda reflected on the path. From lasagna assault to tentative peace, each step a battle. The price, lost love, gained self. Was it worth it? Her inner voice whispered yes, but doubts lingered. Months after the breakup, Esmeralda stood taller, her activism gaining traction. A local newspaper featured her story, anonymized but raw. From rejection to resilience, the headline read. Readers responded, some with support, others hate. She read them all, steeling herself. This is the fight, she thought, the ongoing war against bias. Family dinners resumed, tentative and polite. Margaret avoided Ivy's name, but progress showed in small ways, a rainbow pin on her lapel. Yet, inner conflicts persisted. Esmeralda dated Lena sporadically, but comparisons to Ivy haunted her. Was I too quick to let go? The ethical tangle. Forgiveness versus self-protection. Society's evolving views helped. Laws protecting LGBTQ rights, cultural shifts, but personal battles raged on. A family gathering tested the fragile peace. Aunt Clara, ever judgmental, probed. So back to normal now? Esmeralda bristled. Normal was a lie. Margaret defended her, a turning point. She's our daughter. Pride swelled in Esmeralda, but so did sorrow for the lost time. Lena encouraged deeper commitment. I'm here for you. Esmeralda opened up about her past, vulnerabilities shared. But when Ivy texted congratulations on the article, old wounds reopened. Proud of you. Esmeralda replied neutrally, but her heart raced. Closure? Or lingering flame? She chose silence, prioritizing healing. Work thrived, the promotion secured despite earlier whispers. Colleagues applauded her courage, but she knew the cost, sleepless nights, therapy bills. The price of authenticity was steep, but rewarding. Tim's wedding approached, Esmeralda as maid of honor. Ivy was invited through mutual ties, creating tension. At the rehearsal, they met awkwardly. You look good, Ivy said. Esmeralda nodded, inner turmoil churning. Forgive? Forget? The ceremony passed without incident, but post-reception they talked. I regret hurting you, Ivy admitted. Esmeralda echoed, me too. Parting, a weight lifted, true closure achieved. With Lena, things deepened. A weekend trip solidified their bond, free of past shadows. Esmeralda reflected on her journey. The shock of coming out, family war, betrayal, reconciliation. Each decision carried consequences shaping her. Socially, she advocated louder, speaking at events. Change starts with courage, she proclaimed, drawing from her pain. Audiences connected, her story inspiring. But privately doubts nagged. Did I choose right? The moral ambiguities remained. Family loyalty versus personal truth, love sacrifices. As summer faded, Esmeralda sat with Margaret. Honest conversations flowing. I was scared, Margaret confessed. Of losing you. Esmeralda understood, fears mirrored. Healing bridged gaps, but scars reminded of the battle. Lena proposed moving in, Esmeralda agreed, a new chapter. Optimism bloomed, tempered by wisdom. The world's prejudices lingered, but her resolve strengthened. In quiet moments, she pondered the saga's lessons. From lasagna-drenched humiliation to empowered voice, the transformation was profound. Yet the human cost, broken hearts, strained ties, prompted reflection. Was coming out at that Christmas dinner the right choice, or a catalyst for unnecessary pain?